The Lovers Pentacle, Chapter 13, Knight of Swords. Eugenia ran to the kitchen and she came back with a bag of ice for Santiago's nose. Kain looked at the guy's nose, and his mouth proudly seeing his handiwork. Without warning, he yanked at the nose in order to set it back in place. Santiago let out a torrent of profanity, but at least his crooked nose was back in its original spot. Kain sat down in a corner of the room while he waited for his chance to bolt out of the house. Eugenia was standing in the doorway blocking the exit. Kain was far too much of a gentleman to push her out of the way, and he looked out the window and he fancied jumping out of it. It was just a one-floor drop, but there was still a good chance that he could break something if he messed up the landing. Eugenia recognizing the corner rag look made her way towards Kain. And when she moved from the door, Kain sprung to his feet, and before he reached the door, Eugenia hugged him to keep her boyfriend from running away. The familiar touch calmed his frayed nerves, and in an instant everything became alright in his world. Eugenia, said Kain with a whippy tone in his voice, "Your crazy mother locked me up in this bedroom with your psychotic ex-boyfriend. Why would she do that to me?" "There, there," said Eugenia, petting Kain's hair. Kain lowered himself to be wrapped up in her sweet embrace, and Santiago grinding his teeth, watched on with furious envy. Eugenia walked towards the bed and she sat down, with Kain resting his head on top of her knees. "I wasn't trying to lock you up," said Eunice, laughing nervously. "It is just that locking you up was the only way I thought to keep you in the house." "You're a sick lady," protested Kain. "Do you kidnap all of Eugenia's boyfriends, or am I just your first?" "Stop being such a drama queen," protested Santiago. "If anyone has a right to complain, it is me. You broke my nose, you psychotic bastard." "The cameras show that you started the fight," said Eugenia. "He was going to shoot your mother's fingers clean off," protested Santiago. "No, he wasn't," said Eugenia absent-mindedly. "He's dangerous, Eugenia, even more so than his predecessor," warned Santiago. "There was someone worse than you, Santiago?" asked Kain before kissing Eugenia's hand, "and I find that hard to imagine." "God, Eugenia, he's playing you like a fiddle," said Santiago, shaking both his feet in blind rage. "Someone that crazy shouldn't be allowed to carry a loaded weapon." "I had carried a gun for more than a decade, and the first person I shot was trying to murder my friend. And did I kill him? No, because it is in my role to be the judge and executioner to the villainous scum that predates a law-abiding citizen," said Kain. Santiago, doing the math, said, "Wait a minute. Did you carry a gun when you were in high school? See, this is what I'm talking about, Eugenia. He's crazy." "I carry pepper spray in my person since kindergarten," said Eugenia. Eugenia's stepmother had been kidnapped as a child, so when it came time for Eugenia to start school, the poor woman gave her daughter pepper spray to protect herself. Eugenia had made good use of the pepper spray more times than she dared to remember. "That isn't the same thing. You can't kill a person with pepper spray," reasoned Santiago. "You can kill a person with pepper spray," said Kain, sharing statistics. 2 years ago, one of my co-workers died after getting pepper sprayed by a bunch of peaceful protesters. "And why wasn't that on the news?" asked Eunice. "It happened on 9/11, so there was something else happening that was far more newsworthy," said Kain. "I can fetch you the autopsy report if you don't believe me." The pepper spray conversation carried them throughout the day, and when night fell, the only person that still held a grudge was Santiago. Kain made dinner, and his romantic rival had to admit that Kain was a really good cook, and Santiago could almost tolerate Kain if he wasn't a cop. And even if they never became friends, Eugenia wished that they could at least tolerate each other's presence. "Kain spent a year in foster care," said Eugenia during dinner. "What part of that is supposed to surprise me?" asked Santiago. "I don't know who raised you, but that person was clearly a lunatic." "I wasn't raised by just one individual. A large number of people played an important role in turning me into what I am," said Kain, stabbing his salad. "I was thinking, Eugenia, as much as I like spending time with you, the Santiago situation is more than I can tolerate." "Why can't you just get along, Kain?" protested Eugenia, slapping both her hands on the table. "I was getting along just fine till that pig started lecturing me," protested Santiago. There isn't a worse blind than a person who refuses to see, retorted Kain. See, there he goes again, lecturing me again, treating me like I'm a stupid meathead, and I have a degree which is more than you can say, said Santiago, flaunting his college education like a weapon. It is hopeless, sighed Kain. I am going home, Eugenia. It was nice knowing you. You win, Santiago, so you can stop punching me every time I am unfortunate enough to run into you. If you leave Kain, I am never speaking to Santiago ever again, said Eugenia, trying out her final gambit. What? Why? Protested Santiago. Why do I have to get punished just because a psycho isn't man enough to stand by you when things become even a little difficult? Good, you can do better. You can do a lot better. A sweet girl like you should have no trouble in finding herself someone truly worthy of her affection. And I tried to fit in your world, Eugenia. I'm sorry I wasn't able to. You only tried for one day before immediately giving up, retorted Santiago. If a stranger doesn't like you right away, nothing you do will make that person change his negative opinion about you, said Kain. I know from experience. Can't we just start over? Insisted Eugenia. It is easy to break something than to put it back together, said Kain, picking up the dishes. Santiago has already decided to hate me. It is too late for us to start over. Kain cleaned the dishes while he was busy. Eugenia was coaxing Santiago into getting along with Kain. Santiago wasn't going to allow himself to be persuaded. He was afraid of Kain. In both times they had gone to blows, Kain had come out victorious, and it frustrated Santiago that someone who seemed weaker than him was physically stronger. Kain finished cleaning the dishes, and he made his way towards the exit, and he pushed the door handle, and he sighed with relief when the door opened, and he sat inside his car to ponder all of his life choices, and he opened his wallet to look at a photograph of his grandma. Not the brightest idea to antagonize your girlfriend's childhood friend, said Raphael. I wasn't thinking, Grandpa, said Kain. That has always been your problem, said Raphael. My advice, go apologize to Santiago. And why should I apologize? I didn't do anything wrong, said Kain, pouting. You antagonize a man you barely know, and then you threaten to shoot Eunice's fingers clean off just because you couldn't wait 5 minutes, rebuked Raphael. You acted like a lunatic, and I want you to go back to the house and apologize for your very existence. Like, this is Kain talking to, like, the photograph of his dead grandpa again. Kain left the car and he knocked on the door, and Eunice smiled warmly, allowed for Kain to go back inside. I am sorry, Eunice, for reacting to being locked up, said Kain apologetically. And my mother would lock me up in my room whenever her drunk friends would visit. That isn't an excuse, but the reason why I did what I did. And being locked up is like one of my triggers, but I am making an effort to fix my many flaws. Don't worry about it, Kain, said Eunice, patting Kain's hand. And when he opened his palm, he saw a master key. Here's a master key so you won't feel like a prisoner in our house anymore. Thank you, Lady Eunice, said Kain, bowing. You are so formal, said Eunice, laughing. Relax, Kain. Sheesh. Kain walked upstairs and he knocked on the door and he waited, and on the other side Santiago and Eugenia were arguing. And Kain tested Eugenia. I am here to apologize to Santiago. Eugenia read the text and she said, laughing, You don't need to apologize, you haven't done anything wrong. That's debatable, and I feel that I'm the one who did wrong, therefore I must apologize to clear my conscience. Eugenia opened the door and she allowed Kain to come within, and Santiago, who couldn't tolerate breathing the same air as Kain, went to the door, and Eunice locked the door to keep Santiago from escaping. Santiago, annoyed, tried to kick the door down, but he stumped his toe. Kain, give me your gun, I'm shooting the door down, said Santiago, reaching behind Kain's back. He patted Kain's behind, searching for the gun, and Kain gave a slight smile before asking, Find anything you like. Santiago took a few steps back, and blushing, he said, Where is your gun? I left it in the car, said Kain, still maintaining that fake smile. And since you're afraid of it, I felt that was the only way to put you at ease, was to face you without it. Fuck, Eunice, open the door, insisted Santiago, trying to force the door now. You are all under house arrest until you start acting your age, said Eunice sternly. And if you need anything, call me on the phone, and I will be sleeping in the guest house. Eunice left her mansion, and she moved to the guest house, and from there she could see into her stepdaughter's bedroom, and she brought out her binoculars to monitor the situation from far away in order to create the illusion of privacy. Kain has the master key, so it's not as if the children was really locked. Santiago went to the balcony. I read that steroids increase your aggression and that they cause mood swings, and in higher dosages you experience manic symptoms and even paranoia, said Kain. I don't abuse steroids, said Santiago before start bursting out laughing. I can't say that with a straight face. So tell me, Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, have you never ever abused any substances? I have gotten drunk before, and I am only human, said Kain shyly. Eugenia and I got super wasted on our first date. I'm going to remember that day till the day I die, said Eugenia, feeling a phantom pain on her back. Rub some salt on that wound, why don't you, insisted Santiago. And we went night swimming and I got stung by a jellyfish, said Eugenia, laughing. I can't believe I never told you about it, Santiago. We should go night swimming, said Kain, looking at Eugenia's pool. Sure, why not, said Eugenia, stripping down to her undergarments. Kain reached into his pocket and he brought out the master key, and Santiago frowned when he realized that Eunice and Kain were scheming against him. Eunice hated Santiago for enabling her stepdaughter's addiction. The three went to the pool to cool off, and it was always climatized since Dorothy was a competitive swimmer who swam laps on an almost daily basis. And when the three got to the pool, they saw Dorothy had company, and she was mating with Siddhartha inside the pool. Am I interrupting, sis? Asked Eugenia, laughing. Nah, we were just about finishing up, giggled Dorothy, stretching the bottom half of her bikini. I don't want to use that pool anymore, said Eugenia, frowning. Then use a jacuzzi, sis. I haven't tainted that with my cooties yet, said Dorothy, getting out of the pool. Came straight down to his undergarments before cannonballing into the pool, and Eugenia shrugged her shoulders before jumping after her boyfriend. Siddhartha was back floating, was staring at the stars in the sky, and Dorothy went to the pool house, and she came back with a volleyball and 3 pool noodles and a pool float the shape of a donut. Kain gravitated to the donut almost an instinct, and he swam underneath only to emerge right smack in the center of the donut. Santiago in the end got undressed and he joined the others, and Kain paddled towards Santiago, but the man swam away from him. Kain chased Santiago around the pool until the hulking man grew short-winded. You need to work on your cardio, said Kain when he got up to Santiago. Yes, Mom, said Santiago, rolling his eyes. I'm sorry for nagging you so much, said Kain, and it wasn't my intention to play the role of a sanctimonious goody two-shoes, and you do not need to worry about me arresting you and a lot about having evidence against you, and I was fishing for information, and you confirmed a suspicion I had about you. All right, you caught me, officer. Take me to jail, said Santiago with exasperation, and he showed his hand in order to have Kain place him in imaginary handcuffs. Kain reached for those imaginary handcuffs, and he placed Santiago's hands on his back, and then he symbolically arrested him for purchasing illegal substances. Kain, giggling, said, You have the right to remain silent. Everything you say and Candy will be used against you in the court of law. Kain pulled at Santiago's arm to take him towards the imaginary police station, and Santiago allowed his body to go limp to make it easier for Kain to ferry him. Kain dragged Santiago towards Eugenia, and giggling, he said, I have arrested your friend, and what will you have me do, boss? Let him off with a warning, said Eugenia, fixing an imaginary tie. And we shouldn't waste company resources in booking a no-good street punk. Aye, boss, said Kain, uncuffing Santiago. You are free to go, and don't let me catch you again, other guy, otherwise I will be forced to give you another stern talking to. Yeah, let's play wrestle, said Eugenia, trying to anchor herself on top of Kain's shoulder. Wait, Eugenia, let me get out of the floaty first, said Kain, getting out of the donut floater. Eugenia got on top of Kain's shoulders, and together they challenged Siddhartha and Dorothy to a duel. The sisters play wrestled as they tried to knock each other off, and much to Eugenia's annoyance, she lost to her baby sister. Dorothy was physically stronger since she was a family athlete. The sister had a rematch, and they said Eugenia was victorious, but mainly it was because Dorothy allowed her big sister to win. Dorothy stood on top of Siddhartha's shoulder before jumping backwards, and she swam underneath the water till she was between Siddhartha's feet. And Dorothy took impulse, and in one swift motion, she raised the much bigger man on top of her shoulders. Wow, sis, and when did you get so strong? Said Eugenia, genuinely impressed. Dorothy coughed up a bit of water before answering. The water is doing most of the heavy lifting, and you shouldn't have a problem lifting up your boyfriend. Is that so? Said Eugenia, getting off Kain's shoulder. Eugenia swam underneath Kain, and when she swam outwards, she headbutted her boyfriend's private. Kain let out a burst of profanity before doubling over in pain, and Santiago got a hearty laugh at listening Kain cursing. Eugenia, in full apology mode, tried to run the tender area in order to soothe it, and Kain swam away from her in order to hide behind Sidanta and Dorothy. And it took a solid 5 minutes of agonizing minutes for the pain to go away. "Do you want me to get you an ice pack?" asked Sidanta, alarmed. "It is sweet Jesus, there is passing," said Kain, frowning. "Let me lift you up again," said Eugenia, swimming out to Kain. "I don't want to play that anymore," pouted Kain. Santiago smacked the volleyball against Kain's head, and laughing he said, "Let's play volleyball instead." Sidanta took the ball, and he carefully aimed it, and the ball struck Santiago on the nose again, thus reopening the wound. And Dorothy dropped Sidanta from her shoulders, and she swam out of the pool, and she came back with an ice pack for Santiago's nose. "Are you boys ever going to mature?" protested Dorothy. "I have zero tolerance for bullies. If he hits my partner, I will hit harder," said Sidanta, proud of what he did. "And if someone hits your girlfriend, what will you do?" asked Dorothy, passing her index finger over her lips. "I will kill that person," said Sidanta flatly. "With a gun or with a knife?" asked Dorothy, pressing herself hard against Sidanta's flesh. "With a fork," said Sidanta. "I will press it to the eyeball, into the brain, and I will rattle it in there until there's nothing left but brain omelette." "Are you for real?" asked Santiago. "Yeesh." "My little woman likes it when I talk like a bad cop," said Sidanta before kissing Dorothy on the forehead. "And there's nothing wrong with indulging in hypotheticals, and little Dorothy sometimes fancies breaking the leg of the girl that took her spot for the Summer Olympics." "She isn't even that fast," protested Dorothy, "but since she has a heart condition, the coach insists they chose her instead of me." "You will get your chance to compete in the Olympic next year," Dorothy said, Eugenia, trying to be supportive. "That's not how the Olympics work," said Eugenia, "but don't worry about it. I'm more worried," said Dorothy. "I hope she suffers a heart attack." "You shouldn't wish evil unto others just because they happen to stand in your way," said Kain, swimming closer to Dorothy. "Irina says that curses are like a double-edged sword, and if you wish for something bad to happen to someone, bad things are going to happen to you as well." "That's debatable," retorted Santiago. Well, go on, debate me," said Kain, calling Santiago's bluff. "Give me an example of someone you know that wished evil unto others and nothing bad happened to him." Santiago couldn't think of a good rebuttal, so instead he said, "I'm thirsty. Who wants to drink a few beers?" "Now you're finally speaking my language," said Sidanta, leaving the pool. Sidanta dried himself off with a towel as best he could, and from a high vantage point he saw a shade hiding among the bamboos. Eunice had stayed for minimalism, and her garden integrated many Japanese elements. Sidanta studied the shade with mild amusement, and he fancied that Michael was sneaking into his own house to hide an indiscretion. And Sidanta jumped back into the water, and he swam towards Dorothy, and he whispered, "I think your father's watching." "Hey, Dad, we see you," yelled Dorothy, looking at the shade. "Get out of those bushes, Dad, and use the front door like a normal person," said Eugenia. The shade neither moved nor did it run away. It just stood there like a statue. And Sidanta and Santiago left the pool in order to investigate, and the interloper in the darkness didn't inspire them much confidence. And before they got close enough, the light bulbs around the pool exploded, and the two men heard something move in the shadows. And they ran after the noise and out of the backyard, and when they reached the street, they realized that they had lost track of the intruder. "The dogs didn't bark," commented Sidanta. "The intruder must be someone they know," said Santiago contemplatively. "How many people work in this house?" asked Sidanta. "Well, there is the maid, the gardener," said Santiago, giving a list of the entire staff. "Though we can't rule out the pizza boy as a possible interloper." The two men returned to the house, and Sidanta picked up his phone and he texted Jeremy, "I know that it was you, and what the fuck were you doing sneaking about in Dorothy's house?" Jeremy responded by sending a photograph of his current location, and the photo showed Jeremy at home watching a movie with a cat. Sidanta still not convinced texted, "You could have taken the photo beforehand." "And what do I have to do to prove to you that I am where I am?" texted Jeremy. Sidanta called Jeremy and he said, "Take another photo, only this time stand next to the television and raise the volume so I can verify that you are indeed watching this thing from another world." Jeremy took another photo, and the item matched what he was watching, and Jeremy asked Sidanta, "What are you?" Sidanta hung up the phone before Jeremy could articulate his sentence, and Dorothy asked, checking up on your kid brother. Yeah, I feel guilty leaving him at home by himself, said Siddhartha. You should bring him next time, said Dorothy, and I can arrange a blind date. That way he has one and you have one. Or I can try to get over my guilt, said Siddhartha. My Jeremy, he's not normal. And when we were shooting, I thought he was just imaginative, but his course persisted into adulthood, and now I just don't know how to help him. What is wrong with him exactly? Asked Dorothy, trying to be supportive. He's just not good with people, simplified Siddhartha. I practically had to strong-arm him into socializing, and yes, meeting new people can be scary for someone like him. But if he shut himself out from the world, he will spend the rest of his life miserable and alone. He's lucky to have you, said Dorothy, hugging Siddhartha. I consider myself lucky to have him, said Siddhartha, kissing Dorothy. When Jeremy finally drops his guard, he's all honey. He's the sweetest, kindest person I know, and it is a pity that such a nice guy only has a single friend in the entire world. I don't mean to interrupt, said Kain, interrupting, but we should head inside. The garden looks far creepier without the lights, and we don't know if this is a prelude to something much worse. I agree, said Eugenia, getting out of the pool. The friends left the pool area, and Eugenia texted her stepmother to inform her of the intruder. The mansion was officially on lockdown till morning. Santiago went with Siddhartha and they swept through the mansion and the guest house to make certain that there were no intruders. Kain had to return to the car to fetch his trusty revolver while Eugenia had her pepper spray in hand. The two formed a physical barrier around Dorothy, and Eugenia went to the entrance to put the alarm, and when the front door opened, and when the front door opened, and in a panic she shot pepper spray before she had a chance to see who was entering the front door. And her father Michael got a full face of pepper spray. Ah, Eugenia, stop it, it's me, yelled Michael. Dad, I am sorry, there was an intruder, said Eugenia, running to the kitchen to get a wet towel for her dad. And when she returned, she added, and why are you dressed like the Unabomber? I was jogging, lied Michael. You don't jog, said Eugenia, narrowing her eyes. You hate the outdoors. I was visiting my illegitimate son. There, happy, lied Michael, forcing a fake smile through his tear-gas wounded eyes. Dad, we already know about him. There's no need to sneak about to go see him, said Eugenia, laughing. You can bring him to the house if you want to. Well, the press doesn't know about him, and those vultures would eat him alive if they found out about us, protested Michael. I cannot go with your logic, Dad, said Eugenia, sneering. The last time the press found out about one of your indiscretions, you were forced to marry the woman. At the rate you're going, Dad, we might as well become Mormons, said Dorothy as a greeting. The light served to appease his daughters and his wife and niece. And Kain, who was sharper, began to poke holes in that story, and he questioned why Michael would be visiting his illegitimate son in the middle of the night. At this hour, the kids should be asleep. Alright, that's the end of that chapter. Bye-bye, God bless.